Zelete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Imagine looking at a map of Africa. Near the top sits Egypt, massive, modern, and sitting right on the Suez Canal, the busiest shipping highway on earth. Now, look 5,000 kilometers down the coast to East Africa. You find Tanzania, home to Mount Kilimanjaro, vast farmland, and a massive port on the Indian Ocean called Dar es Salaam. On July 18th, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi got on a plane and flew all the way down to Tanzania to meet their president, Samia Suluhu Hassan. On TV, it looked like boring political stuff, red carpets, military bands, big speeches, and two leaders smiling while signing papers. Most news outlets ignored it. Why? Because on paper, this trip made zero sense. Last year, Egypt and Tanzania traded a total of 84 million US dollars worth of stuff. To put that in perspective, these two countries have nearly 180 million people combined. $84 million in trade is eventually nothing. Flying a head of state, an army of security guards, and a team of diplomats 5,000 kilometers for just $84 million is like spending $1,000 on just gas to buy a dollar pack of gum. So why did the president of Egypt really make this trip? Because this wasn't about what these two countries are trading today. It was about a hidden high-stake gamble to control the future of African trade. If you were sitting in the room during their meetings, you would have noticed something strange. The two presidents were signing the same documents, but they were talking about two completely different dreams. The Egyptian president was talking fast. He was focused on speed. He basically told the room, stop signing useless papers. Get the things out. Start digging. Egypt wants to build a giant uninterrupted trade pipeline. They want ships to load up to Tanzania's port, sail up the Indian Ocean, cut through the Red Sea, pass through the Suez Canal, and land right in Egypt's Mediterranean port. If Egypt controls that route, they control one of the most powerful maritime highways on earth. But when the Tanzania president spoke, she didn't talk about ships or shipping lanes. She talked about debt. She talked about farms, cows, corn, and agriculture. And right there, you see the secret tension. Egypt wants to build the roads to move stuff. Tanzania wants to build the farms to grow stuff.
Tanzania and Egypt are taking steps to deepen their relationship following Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's state visit to Dar es Salaam. During talks with Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the two leaders agreed to expand cooperation in a range of sectors including trade, transport, agriculture, energy, and healthcare. President Samia Suluhu Hassan said the discussions highlighted the strong and growing partnership between the two countries.
Tulikuwa na mazungumzo na ujumbe wa wageni wetu tuliowapokea, Mheshimiwa Rais na ujumbe wake. Tumejadili masuala mengi sana yenye lengo la kukuza na kuimarisha uhusiano zaidi na ushirikiano kati ya mataifa yetu mawili. Mazungumzo yetu yalijielekeza katika kuimarisha uhusiano na ushirikiano kwenye masuala ya kiuchumi kwenye nyanja mbalimbali.
The two countries also unveiled several flagship projects aimed at improving connectivity and driving economic growth. These include a proposed railway linking Bagamoyo Port to Tanzania's standard gauge railway network, stronger cooperation between the ports of Dar es Salaam and Bagamoyo, and the new investments in large-scale farming and renewable energy. Egypt has also pledged support for specialized medical training, scholarships, cybersecurity initiatives, and the rehabilitation or construction of a referral hospital.
Now, look behind Tanzania on the map. Behind Tanzania sit 6 countries where no access to the ocean. Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Zambia, and Malawi. These 6 countries have millions of people, endless farmland, and trillions of dollars in gold, copper, and minerals. But to sell any of it to the rest of the world, they have to come across borders to the seaport. Tanzania, the front door to those 6 countries. When Egypt invests in Tanzania's ports and highways, they aren't just trying to do business with Tanzania. They are buying the keys to the front door of Central Africa. Today, if a farmer in Uganda wants to ship food to North Africa, the cargo gets stuck at border checkpoints for weeks. Paperwork gets lost, food rots, and prices skyrocket. Egypt's plan is to smooth out the road, clear the red tape, and build a high-speed express lane straight to the north. A shipment that takes weeks today could take days tomorrow. If this sounds familiar, it's because someone tried doing this 100 years ago. Back in the colonial era, the British wanted to build a Cape to Cairo railway cutting through the continent from top to bottom. But that project was about extraction, foreign empires stealing Africans' resources, shipping raw materials to European factories and keeping all the profit for themselves. Today, African leaders are making the decision themselves. But here is the catch. A road doesn't care who builds it. It only cares who moves on top of it. Look at what these 2 countries actually produce. Egypt makes manufactured goods, processed food, and technology, things you make in factories that sell for high prices. Tanzania mostly exports raw crops and raw materials, things taken straight out of the earth for low prices. If you build a super fast highway between a farm and a factory, who wins? The factory. They buy the cheap raw materials, process them into expensive products, and sell them back. If this new trade route only moves raw Tanzania crops north and expensive Egyptian factory goods south, the wealth gap between the 2 sides will only get bigger. There is one more piece to this puzzle that nobody talks about on stage. Water. Egypt is a desert. Almost every single drop of water drunk in Egypt comes from one source, the Nile River. Where does the Nile River start? Lake Victoria in East Africa, which sits right inside Tanzania. For decades, Egypt has worried about upstream countries building dams or taking water from the Nile. By spending billions on Tanzania port, roads and farms, Egypt isn't just making a business move. They are making friends with the country that holds their water supply. It's a strategic shield disguised as a trade deal. Right now, most of these projects exist on paper. The agreements signed in Dar es Salaam were just promises to keep talking. No massive budgets have been unlocked yet, and thousands of kilometers of mason roads still need to be paved. But the race has officially started. Across Africa, nations are rushing to build the ports, railways, and highways that will power the next century of trade. Egypt isn't waiting around to see who wins. They are trying to build a network themselves. Keep your eyes on this space, because if those shows actually hit the deck, the economic map of Africa will never look the same again. Looking at what is happening right now, Tanzania has the keys to what Egypt needs. At the end of the day, if this trade deal should go through, it's only going to favor Egypt. And we'll still have Dar es Salaam still at the poor stage where they keep feeding Egypt with their raw materials. Whether it is Egypt or the West, it's still the same. Because you have the factories, I have the resources. I feed your factories with my cheap resources. And Egypt, at the end of the day, takes these resources, process them, and make huge sum of money and still sell it back to the Tanzanians at a very expensive price. So this deal, when you look at it, on paper, it is not. We are looking for an Africa whereby we'll have our own things done that will benefit the 2 sides. And we want Africans to also look at it in the way that they can also start processing their resources. Like the speech she made in Russia, that they will no longer export the resources in the raw form. They want to add value. And this is what we are looking for, value. We don't want to sign trades among ourselves where just a particular country benefits the most. Is it going to be the same colonization? It will be like we are now colonizing ourselves in this modern world. Because when we look at this deal, things are not adding up. Maybe to me, but to you, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the deal between Egypt and Dar es Salaam? Looking at the background that you have had so far concerning this deal between these two nations. That was why the Egyptian president has to travel about 5,000 kilometers to Dar es Salaam. We also heard that the colonizer, when they were here, was trying to build the same thing to end up in there, yet it didn't succeed. And now we're having Africans trying to do that. It is a good thing. But at the end of the day, what Egypt is going to benefit? Is it going to be the same as what the Tanzanians who also benefit? Is it going to be that? Because it is an African country, it is good to have an African country making more than the other, where Tanzania will only feed the factories with cheap resources. Is it the win-win partnership we are preaching for? Is this a good deal? If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the notification and select all. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, East Africa, and in Tanzania.